January 13th SOAR Commission meeting. And as usual, we start with a roll call of who's present in the room. Corey, we'll start at your end.
Corey White, Sewer Superintendent. Keith Canton, Assistant Sewer Foreman.
Lynn Pooler, Sewer Secretary.
Dave Pierce, Chair of the Commission.
Daniel Taylor, Commissioner.
Mike Trank, Consulting Engineer.
And our missing Commissioner Tim Redmond, he is expected to arrive in a few moments. So let's proceed with the new business, the audit question here, Lynn.
Public comment, you want to?
We'll wait for Tim to arrive.
Okay. So the audit, okay.
You gave us a handout this evening, an audit for the financial department examiners.
Yeah,
I found one that I had a similar form I filled out in May. So what's the application? What was the form you handed out to us?
it's the one, I was just given that this week from Finance. It's due by the end of February. If we want to finish it tonight, I can pass it in after the meeting.
It's a little bit different than the one I did in May. It ends with each commissioner stating a couple phrases about their background.
I think we've done that before.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that
I don't
portion.
remember that either. So I mean, if we want to do that right now, or if you just want to write it on the sheet for me, give it to me at the end of the meeting, I can put it on.
Yes, I'd rather the commissioners take some thought as to what they're writing down about their years of service and background,
Okay.
and you will assemble them in one report, because and then you can provide the assembled report for me to sign.
Yep, we can do that.
So this is an administrative thing which the commissioners can fill out and I can sign.
Did you, that tone at the top question, I didn't have an answer for. If you want to take a look at that, and you guys can answer that.
What page?
It's the second page. It's between the two. It's like a little over halfway down. It says, how is the tone at the top communicated to employees?
A strange introduction.
Expectations. I wasn't exactly sure what to write for that. So you can give that some thought.
Well, it's something we haven't experienced with our wealth of hiring new employees and introducing them to the department.
Yeah, I'll work on that one. I'll
Is
let
that-
you know what.
Intended to be answered as... Oh, wait, no.
The
So
commissioners.
us to them,
Yes,
or to you guys?
from you to us.
Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tim. We've gone through the roll call, and I'll do the public comment in a moment. We started to discuss, while waiting for you to arrive, this administrative form requested by the Finance Department.
Okay, thank you.
The one on the desk is one that Lynn has accumulated by her experience, and she's answered them. She's asking on the second page, she's asking for what our ideas might be about this question that says, what is the tone do you communicate to new employees?
Or to us. How do you communicate your expectations, values, behavior?
What is the reason for this form?
This is our new auditors. Finance just gave it to me this week. We fill this out for the auditors before they actually come and do the audit in summer, in May or June. They want this back by the end of February at the latest.
Well, the board members are asked by Finance Department to fill out.
We've done it every year.
And I've done it for the last 2 years personally. But the Finance Department is asking for, especially the the end of the second page, continuing on the third page, is an opportunity for us, each member, to explain what experience they bring into the job.
Oh, that's, yeah, we can, that's personal.
Yes, so what I suggest is each one of us can fill out your
Portion?
portion and provide it to Lynn.
Yeah.
She will assemble it into one package, and she'll call me to come in and sign it.
But are you looking for direction on the tone at the top?
Yeah, but I can think about that if you guys don't have anything that you specifically want to say.
Is that an employee question to be answered, or
I
is
think
that-
it's a question of you guys, because this is a form that is being filled out by
The board members.
the board
Well,
members.
I don't understand tone, but I think that any of these, the answer to this has got to be either expectation, ethics, values, and behavior is all part of the job description. It's communicated via the job description.
And it's
Plus-
it's also our communications among ourselves.
Right.
And
In our meetings and-
expressing directions to our staff at the monthly commission meeting.
I think that would be
That
the
sounds
key
good.
one, the monthly commission meeting would be the
Yeah.
And
part of the answer.
due to our small number of staff, we're able to have a collaborative.
Yeah, good point. Yes, it's not
We
a.
collaborate with our employees versus just sending out
That's
direction.
true. All right, that sounds good, thank you. Got it. Thanks for your help.
Okay.
And I just need you guys to fill out and send me your years of service and background, and then I'll put it all together and send it in. Thank you.
Dan and Tim, if you want to handwrite something tonight, or you can send something to Lynn in the morning.
I'll just drop it off to them.
Drop it off to Lynn, or email a comment to Lynn, and she'll assemble it
Okay.
all into one document. I'll go back one step. At the start of each session, we ask for public comment. Yes, public comment is open, but there's no one in the audience, so I will, at 6:15, close public comment. We'll, under new business, pictures for the annual report, Lynn, we'll do that
We
after
can do it at the end of the,
session.
but the annual report, I looked at it, what I was gonna do is I was just changing the numbers, that you had put, number of, businesses and customers, and I was gonna leave everything else that you put the same,
Right,
because you did a
Would
fine job
appreciate
with
that,
it.
Lynn. I've done a couple. Tim, I believe you wrote the one last year, and if you wanted to change the numbers
I think it sounds good,
and bring it up to date,
Mm-hmm.
give me a call to come in and review it.
Pretty much just the numbers, everything else I looked at
And
is
then
pretty
I'll-
much up to date.
So let me look at it,
Yep.
and then I'll tell you to send it in.
Okay, I will actually give it to you.
Unless, Tim, you want to read it again?
Chair's job to do the report generally.
There you go. You can have it, all I changed was the numbers, and that's it, you can look at it and
Yeah,
get back to me.
Do that later.
Okay.
No. Last item on the new business is a discussion about our annual sewer fee. Presume that meant the use fee, right?
Mhm.
Okay. It's, we were going to discuss this, in November. There appeared to be little interest in doing that, but I'm welcome to open the floor back up. Tim?
Well, I think that I asked Corey to prepare a report for us, and it's going to be a report on how much money we used out of our capital improvement amount we budgeted for 2025, which he will give us when it's time. But Corey's report is going to tie into the sewer fee discussion. So if the board, if our commission doesn't mind, I would like the chair to have Corey give us a report on our CIP expenditures, and then we can tie that into discussion, if that's all right with you.
Yes, I would welcome that. Our CIP expenditures are a critical portion of our entire annual budget, and it's
Almost a quarter of it, if you really think about
significant.
it.
But it also, we should aim at having a relatively even budget year over year.
So,
And if we don't have a capital improvement effort one year, it doesn't facilitate the review of the budget for the
we
following year.
budget for it based on the projection that we'll be able to expend it.
Mhm.
And Corey's going to give us a report on that part of
Okay.
the, so when you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Corey, go ahead.
So in 2024, the CIP was budgeted for $766,264. That being,
That was budgeted in '24 for the '25 season, correct, Corey?
yes, correct,
So it's the 2025 appropriation.
correct.
Okay.
And obviously, that was put forth with the thought of having a significant construction project in the flats, our replacement project. And unfortunately, with trying to work with Public Works and cost-sharing efforts in redoing entire streets at the same time, that didn't happen. They went in a different direction. So at the end of this year, 2025, we only spent $128,601 out of that money. And that encompasses all the manhole covers that we bought for the streets that were redone in Pinardville, point repair that was done as well, the new truck, everything to outfit the new truck, and a liftgate and things for Keith's vehicle. And that also included the work that was done on the property at East Union Pump Station via the yard work and the irrigation system.
So what did you leave, what's that leave for an unexpended balance in that CIP line, Corey? Approximately, you don't have to do the nickels and dimes math.
That's gonna leave like 636,000.
So, thank you, Corey, for that work. I think any sewer fee discussion to continue the increase in rates, I think should be tabled or suspended for this particular season, because the rates that were calculated and charted out over a multi-year period were to keep the fund the enterprise fund properly funded for future repairs. Now, if we didn't expend the money this year, I don't see the need to replace it with another sewer rate increase in 2026 to the ratepayers, because then we would be putting money away that we're not expending. So my suggestion to the commission would be to consider suspension of any rate increases for this particular year, and follow the spending for the next year, and spend the money as we need it and appropriate it as we need it, not continue to appropriate it and just put it in the bank and charge the ratepayers for it.
Last year, when we met at about, the end of '24, November '24, and we decided to increase the rate, the annual rate,
For the
$40.
That was the second rate increase we
Yes,
put
it
in
was.
place.
We did, the year before, we increased it 50, and in November '24, we increased it another 40 to be $490. And your point, right on the money, Tim. The projected schedule that we used in November '24 showed that at this time right now, we would be considering another $40 increase. And I think you're right on the money. We can delay any increase, keep it at the current rate, and it would have no impact out there to that 10-year cash flow issue. We would still be sufficiently funded by, 32, 33 era.
So my input is, when do you want to discuss, so if we're gonna have a rate increase, we decide on a rate increase for 2027 before the bills go out in November. So when would you like me to put it on?
Why did you say 27?
This is 26, right?
Yes.
Because, like, he
Well,
was saying it
I
was too
think-
late
I think
this
we
year
already,
to
I think
do
we
it.
already know the answer to that question, Lynn. We do not have any contracts in place or engineering in place for a project this summer at this time.
Okay, so,
And I've been continually discussing this with DPW and the availability of their funding, and their funding apparently is not going to be available this year, for a number of reasons. And, I do not see us doing a big project this summer and expending another 5 or 6 or 700,000 on infrastructure repair this season. I think this will be another season of smaller projects. And I know we appropriated a fairly large amount for capital improvement this year, but if we're not going to raise rates and we're not going to expend it, our dollar figures are not going to change dramatically. We're going to maintain the same amount of money that we've been maintaining
so,
over the last few years.
so I won't plan, so I'll just bring it up late summer, just to make
Yeah,
sure
we'll
we're
talk
still
about
on
it.
track and.
So yes,
okay.
if we're apparently deciding that for the two bills you're gonna send out in 26, they'll be at
We know
the
there's no
same rate.
increase.
You
Right.
know,
But put on your calendar that in the fall of 26, the commission ought to be discussing the 27 fees.
Early.
when do the next bills go out, Lynn?
Well, the next bills go out in May, but the
that's
bill I
good.
need to know whether we're gonna have a rate increase would be the November's bill.
And you're always billing in arrears, right? 6 months in arrears?
Yes.
So even if you send it out in November, that's for this upcoming summer, which we've expended no money in.
Right, but
Most
I.
likely will expend no large amount, so.
But what I like to do when I send the November bill out, I put on the bill, so we don't have to do a separate mailing, I put on the bill if there's gonna be a rate increase that following
Well, we don't,
year.
we can't do that. We
I
don't
I
do
would,
that.
Lynn, I think you're getting too far ahead of the
Okay.
equation here. I've always felt that our user fee is for both May and November billings,
Mhm.
and that this commission would decide in October, November, whether a rate increase would be prudent for the following
That's what I'm talking
May
about,
and June.
yes.
So
Well, we'll have a discussion and we'll
Okay.
try to keep you abreast of the situation. Is the new sewer bill unable to add a notice in with it? It's because of the mailing,
Right, I'd have,
folding type
right,
thing?
right, but I can put a little message, I have a little box that I do put messages in, like when I knew we were raising the rate
All right.
this past year, I put a note on it.
it's a very limited amount of text you can
Yes,
put in there.
And
yes.
generally speaking, people were not pleased with rate increases.
No, I got a lot of pushback on
Yeah.
that
There's a decent amount of feedback on
Facebook.
online social media. A lot of people don't understand that the sewer is a fixed rate versus water usage, and then a lot of people are surprised at the rate increases because they don't read the notes probably. And then many people were unaware that, like, we went so long without a rate increase that,
And that's bad business in my book.
Yeah,
I've been saying that for years here at the commission meetings. To just continually not have any sort of minor rate increase and then have large jumps
Yeah.
is poor planning on the part of the sewer commission. And prior commissions have chosen not to raise rates because they don't want to deal with the
That's why,
pushback.
Yeah.
that's why I broke the ice maybe
I know
2
you did.
years ago and And
I
so
would-
that with no rate increase, as you were just mentioning.
And I asked for smaller increases in my time on the commission to maintain fund balance, and it was met with opposition.
Mhm.
And the other thing about the sewer rate-paying fee that we charge for our user rates, it's not just to maintain our system. We still have our capital improvements that we have to pay a percentage of to the city of Manchester. And I've been reading in the paper about the PFOAs, are the newest sort of thing that everybody's concerned about, and Manchester does not have an actual PFOA removal system of any kind in their wastewater, and there's some criticism that Manchester is discharging PFOAs in treated wastewater into the Merrimack River.
So if they were to add that to their
If they had-
treatment system,
If they had to add a standalone PFOA removal system at the wastewater treatment plant, I think we're going to get a monster bill for that addition to the plant when that time comes. And I don't mean like 50 or 60,000, I mean we might get a bill for $1 million. We don't know what it's going to cost.
if I may, Mike,
Yes,
come
sir.
into this conversation about treatment plants and their ability for these chemicals. You're aware of any other treatment plants in the state that are facing this, or these improvements?
Not immediately, no. What's coming out generally in the new permits from EPA, the new discharge permits, is monitoring of PFAS compounds for some period of time. What happened in Manchester was the Conservation Law Foundation has challenged their permit with EPA. Basically, they're saying that it should be addressed. But as it stands right now, it's more monitoring. Yeah, it's an expensive proposition.
So
They-
first,
they
the
have to
first step
remove
is
it.
to monitor and see how serious the problem might be.
Right.
Well, they made a pretty serious statement in the paper about how they're being challenged, like you're saying, the Law Conservation Foundation was challenging their results, and I did read that they held up their permit application. So, I'm just trying to
Yeah, I
put
think,
it out there verbally for the whoever might be listening to this meeting, that your sewer user fees are not just to pay Lynn, Corey, and Keith here and put diesel fuel in the generator. There's so many moving parts to this that 4.11% of the wastewater treatment plant in Manchester that we're responsible to maintain funding for their capital improvement projects, it's an obligation that this commission has to always keep in their mind and address financially. So do you want a motion on the fee discussion, Mr. Chair? Would that be appropriate?
I would like a motion as to,
I'd like to make a motion to suspend any sewer fee discussions for the year 2026 billing cycles, and we will readdress the issue a year from now to see how our spending goes, and we can move forward from there.
Second the motion.
any further discussion? Call for the vote, please,
Aye.
Aye.
and I vote affirmative. Unanimous.
Oops,
And
thank you.
just one more little tidbit. I Googled what our Manchester sewer rate increases, and if I'm not mistaken, I read that it was 9% per year for a 6 or 7 year period. They're putting phenomenal rate increases on their users. So our increases are much smaller than the place that we're delivering our wastewater to. Thank you.
Thank you for asking us, Tim, to engage in this conversation.
Yep.
It was needed. So, Mr. Sewer Superintendent, any monthly emergency calls you've had to handle?
Yep, we had one call in December for Moose Club Pump Station. One of the pumps lost prime and overheated, which we've had a little ongoing, couple issues over there. The heater went out, and we had it looked at, and they fixed it, and it worked for about 3 days, 3 or 4 days, and it quit again, so they took the old heater out, there's a new heater in there. And we'll have a little bit of work to do. Sherpon got back to me today. There's a specific sensor on the pump, it's a heat sensor that I think is not working properly. So there's a portion of our alarm panel that's actually disconnected right now. So we're having to check the building every day because I don't get any alarm for a pump overheating, and that's the most common issue we have with those. It loses prime and then overheats.
And what's the prospect of having a heat sensor replaced?
It sounds like it's not gonna be a big deal. Sherborne said hopefully Thursday they'll get over there and actually pull it apart and show us how it works. So, and going further, if that sort of problem comes up again, at least we'll know how to take it apart. It doesn't look super complicated, but you do need some specific tools to actually test it, which we don't have.
Any further discussion on their monthly calls?
I'd like to bring up one more thing, if I may, Mr. Chair. Regarding emergency calls, I'd like to revert way back to when the unfortunate resident had sewer back up into their basement because of a failed line. Once again, I've had discussions with Corey, and I've asked him to please talk with the commission about what he might want to do as at least something to put a start on a request for proposal for spending some of our CIP money. Corey, can I have Corey have the floor, please?
Yes, Corey, go ahead.
So, I think you all remember the issue, the backup we had on Warren Ave. And looking at that line and having some discussion with Tim and Keith, I think we've decided that the best course of action over there, we were just gonna cut out a section that we know that the liner is failing. We'd like to actually change the entire section of pipe from manhole to manhole, because it's really the best way to fix it and not have issues after with the liner inside moving or anything happening to it. So at first we were looking to change 80 feet of that line. Now it's going to be around 300 feet to go between manhole to manhole.
And in discussions with Corey, if I may, Mr. Chair, I talked with Corey, we talked about pipelining, and the pipelining is different, there's different grades of pipelining. One is a sock they install, and then they steam it, and it hardens in place, and then they remove the inverts from all the services. We don't know how that pipelining would react to cutting it and then putting a pressurized clamp of any kind on the old pipe to connect the 80-foot replacement section. We could end up damaging the pipe again every time you squeeze the banding for the connection. We could continually crack that pipe. We may end up chasing the crack for years. So in discussion with Corey and based on my pipe laying experience, I think it would be appropriate to put an RFP out to go manhole to manhole so that we know that one section of pipe between structures will never fail again. And we don't know what the long-term life of this lined pipe is going to be. We may end up with a major project replacing lined pipe in the future.
So a question, Mike, a replacement manhole to manhole, there's no engineering involved, it's same grade, same inverts?
Right.
Okay.
Because the structures themselves in that street are actually in pretty good shape. I don't think we need to change the manholes.
No, I think the manholes are appropriate.
Those-
If the pipe were bigger diameter, you would bore out the manhole?
We'd stay with the same size pipe to be able, but you can't upsize a pipe in the middle of
A run.
So, yeah, you'd have to start at the top and change the entire thing to the bottom.
You could change it with the idea that maybe later, would you run the risk of that section of pipe surcharging the lower pipe and overflooding the lower pipe and creating more problems?
Yeah, creating a funnel a little bit. But the other issue that comes up with if we're going to change that entire section from manhole to manhole, when we normally do a replacement, we change all the services that are connected to the property lines and put a clean out. Is that something we would want to do in that section as well?
Well, that would be, we would have to find out, do you know what the service lines are made of?
They could be, most of them on that street are Bermico.
So I would say that an RFP should include new service connections to the property lines, because if you're gonna dig the street up, and it's only 6 feet deep through there, we checked the data, so it's not deep. We're going to have to do bypass pumping for the sewer flow itself and groundwater mitigation, so there's a lot of moving parts to this. And Corey I discussed it at length with Corey, so he'll write an RFP that encompasses all of the factors that we think are appropriate for bidding, and then he can discuss it with the commissioners, and we can have Mike take a look at it, and we can be sure that we haven't missed anything, so that when we issue an RFP, it's complete, and it can be satisfied without the contractors asking a lot of questions.
So, I guess, Tim, lacking any other significant CIP project, this would be a significant project going into 26 then.
Well, that's what I was
Yes.
counting. I was counting on trying to find a way to not spend our money on repairs. And this repair was a huge damage, and this needs to be done. We were hoping it was going to get done this season, but it was difficult for Corey to find contractors willing to commit to do projects this year. They're all so busy.
So in this particular case, 300 feet manhole to manhole would be a trench replacement on the street.
Right.
But that comes with that street, that section of road is actually under a moratorium, and the moratorium isn't up till 2027.
Well, all we have to do is, when we do, moratorium means you have to do milling beyond your trench patch.
Yeah, curb to curb.
Right.
Which, if we're gonna do the services,
We're gonna go
we're
over
gonna
there,
go
we're
curb
gonna
to
dig
curb
up-
regardless.
So if we have to agree to cut the road to replace the line and trench patch the road, then we would just have the contractor mill the surface of the existing road to the appropriate dimensions as set forth by DPW, and we have to top the road.
Okay, so it'll be a top layer,
It'll
then,
be
not rebuilding as we've done in the past.
Yeah, and it won't be a full top layer either, Dave, because when you mill, you only mill out a ½ inch. So instead of putting an 1.5 inch top on the road, we're replacing a ½ inch of material that's removed, so that you have a seamless surface from curb to curb. That's
Yeah,
the
but
whole purpose.
I'm happy with that. The previous project I was thinking about was
Yes.
Bernardville, we had to rebuild the entire base of the road.
Yes, we don't have to do that, that's all new, the base, everything in that street from top to bottom is new.
I spent time with Corey, we reviewed all the maps for Cross Road, for Rochambeau, for Higgins, and the 2 side roads off of Higgins, and all that sewer runs average of 10 to 13 feet deep. So there's nothing we can actually do down there, even small projects, to continue to work in a neighborhood unless we have the DPW's cooperation. So we're actually going to have to pretty much abandon the thoughts of redoing all those sewers unless we decide to pay the full boat for everything. And I don't think the sewer commission should do that. I think we should, Corey's got a plan to maintain the lines and keep an eye on them. If we have emergencies, we fix emergencies. That's all there is to it. You lay a section of pipe in if we have an emergency.
And we're already essentially on notice because of the discovery of this defect due to a backup. And we
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
taken care of it yet, so who knows when the next time
We don't
that
know that,
happens and what the bill would, what the financial impacts would be, so
and since
we
we're,
can't kick it down the road.
I do know that when we talked with the town, our insurance carrier, we would have been liable for damages if we failed to maintain our lines. And those are the words that was presented to me from the assistant town administrator. So since we've hacked the lines, we have a plan in place to replace the lines, we are not negligent at this time. So if, with the commissioner's permission, I'm asking for Corey to be able to put together an RFP, which we can review and Mike can review, and we can hopefully get that out sooner than later to try to get someone lined up for a summertime project. It's also a bus route, as Corey pointed out, so it would be a July, August project. And was Warren Avenue on the town's list for anything? Was that on the town's list to repair Warren Avenue?
Warren Ave was.
Was done.
Was done, top
Okay,
to
so
bottom.
it's not a list of anything they're gonna
No.
touch, okay. Therefore, the moratorium, my fault.
Yep.
Okay,
I agree with the recommendation.
we don't need a motion, we just
No,
have,
I agree.
think
It's
we
something that Corey will bring back the assessment to the commission for approval to proceed.
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great, good idea. We finished with the old business. Lynn, you haven't reminded
No,
me.
we didn't do the survey, but
What
we
was it?
have to
The
remember to
survey?
go back to our minutes, we never.
Yes, I was about to do that. Yeah, we just did this, the survey.
No, that is the, when I asked Mike to get Cross Street, Higgins, and all the roads surveyed for the impending replacement of those sewer lines. And now with the new budget information we received, it seems like it's not going to be as big a rush, because it doesn't sound like they're going to touch Cross Street this year. I don't see that even happening. So I know I put pressure on Mike to get some information for us. I just would like to know if Mike has anything to report on his search for a surveyor. That's what that,
Well, I talked to Corey earlier today.
Good.
Just to get clarification in my own mind as to what the scope would be for the survey work. And so I put together this project area, if you will, and actually sent that over to Sanford Survey this afternoon and asked them to give me a proposal. So it would include Higgins Street, Cross Street, Plummer, Brookline, Kermit, maybe Sharon, but that's been done.
Yeah,
We could take that out, and then Rochambeau. It wouldn't include Albert Street because it's already completed. And so that's about 6,100 linear feet
6,100 linear feet?
along the street. But I can follow up with Sanford and just have them maybe eliminate,
yeah, axe that
Sharon
portion,
Street.
yeah.
although we'll have to get each end of it anyway.
Yeah, both those intersections.
Yeah. But we can modify that. So I did send that over to Sanford Survey this afternoon and asked them to get a proposal for me for survey work.
Well, let's just move in the right direction.
I sent this drawing figure and I sent guidelines as to what I wanted them to pick up as part of the
The
survey.
details of the elevations.
Is it fairly basic, Mike? It's rim height, invert height, manhole depth?
Yep, structures, landscaping, walls, curbs, edge of pavement, all that kind of stuff. Right-of-way markers and bounds, signs, any unique features that could potentially impact the design of sewer.
Well, that's good, because most of that deep sewer could impact, same as we had on Louis Street, people's retaining
yards.
walls and front steps and everything else that got impacted on Louis Street.
I think as you've done and mentioned in the past, sooner or later, we are going to do these streets.
Well, yeah, and the survey won't change, other than maybe someone puts a different retaining wall in the front yard, and we just deal with that as part of it. But if the lion's share of the work is completed, then if we needed to have Higgins Street done, then you could prepare the documents faster and easier than if we had to start from scratch.
Sure.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, good discussion on that progress. So, finishing old business, I do have to go back and, Lynn, make you happy with the review of minutes. Our agenda says 28 October, but on the table, I also see 9 October.
That's because October 9th, I gave you because finance did not like the way that I wrote the minutes back on October 9th when, for the surplus vehicle, I had put that we didn't receive any offers for the vehicle, and that was incorrect. They wanted me to change it to say that we didn't receive any,
Minimum.
didn't receive any minimum, yeah, or what was, did not meet the minimum for the
So how would,
auction.
so what, could you tell us what the motion needs to read, and I'll make the motion?
It's an
No,
amendment.
I just need you to accept the revised minutes for October 9th.
Did you revise them with the proper wording that you need?
Yes, I did. I went and I watched the meeting again and wrote exactly
I
what
got you. So
Cory
the
said.
highlighted portion is what you'd like to add in.
Well, yes,
Yes,
that's what it's changed to, correct.
All right, I make a motion to amend the minutes from October the 9th, 2025, under old business to include the words "didn't receive the minimum for" in the sentence regarding the surplus vehicle.
Should it minimum reserve for auction?
Or the minimum bid. Get that.
You want minimum?
I'll add bid to that.
Didn't receive
Well, I just wrote what Cory said. Cory just said minimum, but
Okay.
it should
Yeah.
say bid to,
Okay, I'll amend my motion to say "didn't receive the minimum bid."
okay.
I'll second that.
your call, your vote on this motion, please?
Right?
Aye, myself, aye.
Thank you.
Unanimous. Thank you, Lynn, for
You're welcome. Now you have the
working
two
with
letters.
finance to make that technical change. We have on the table minutes for October 28th.
Motion to approve is presented.
I'll second the motion.
The vote, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Lynn, that's taken care of. And finally, there's another set of minutes.
Yeah,
right?
December 7th.
December,
It's the very
It's
first-
very small, yeah.
I was looking for a
And
big
Tim
stack of
can't-
papers.
I'll make a motion to approve the December 17th meeting minutes as presented.
I will second that. And no further discussion. I call for the vote.
Aye.
And I'm aye.
Abstain?
Abstain. Tim abstains.
Thank you.
Back to our agenda again.
I'd like to report on the budget meeting that I went with Lynn, because this is something that wasn't on the agenda, and it can be other business as warranted.
Go ahead.
So, Lynn and I appeared at the Budget Committee meeting at the Goffstown High School auditorium. The Water Department from the Water Precinct and the Grassmere Water Precinct presented ahead of us, and they were both quizzed pretty hard about the stipends and some other items. And when they finally got done with those two, it was our turn. So the first thing the Budget Committee did was vote to remove the stipends from our line items of our budget. I did not dispute it or discuss it with them. We did have one Budget Committee member who asked us, what does the sewer commissioners do to earn a stipend? And I had prepared answers for them that basically we're responsible for a multi-million-dollar budget. We are responsible to make sure that the town of Goffstown's sewer system, wastewater system operates efficiently and stays up with all the current requirements. We have a staff of 3. We not only have monthly meetings, we have informational sessions occasionally when a project is going to happen in another town, in another area in town, excuse me, not another town. And I pretty much just sort of laid out what we do, and he was supportive. That particular Budget Committee member was supportive of the stipends remaining in and voted as such when they took their vote, but the vote was a resounding vote to remove our stipends from the budget. And then we were asked if our budget came in at a lower number than the default budget, and I read our numbers with Lynn prior to the meeting, and our budget was lower than the default budget. So at that point, the Budget Committee suspended questioning of any of our line items, and they voted to approve our budget at the meeting that night. It was a very short and sweet night for Lynn and I to be there, and it was nice to be able to go home a little earlier. So the budget was presented to the Budget Committee and accepted with the stipends being removed. Other than that, they did not move any other line items in our budget.
I appreciate, Tim, you and Lynn representing the commission and answering whatever the concerns were for the budget committee.
Is that why we have this news document here tonight?
I just gave you that so you could see our expenses, year-end
Okay.
expenses so
Year-end
far.
expenses.
And,
Where are we fat on our year-end expenses, Lynn? Which lines were over budgeted and we didn't use? Anything dramatic, or is it just sort of general?
nothing really, I want to say,
I'm just looking for.
projects in O and M,
Yeah, they always come in late.
yeah, that was higher than our, the O and M was higher than our budget, but we knew that. We had talked about that.
So we overspent on the O and M line.
Yeah, and a little bit on the projects as well. But other than that, we underspent on a lot of other lines.
Well, all the other,
Equipment repairs, that's the pump ones. We budget 46,000, we only spent 3,300.
yeah, but you see, though, I've explained it to the
Right.
budget committee over and over and over, that
Right.
we can't not have money in our budget for things.
Right.
And they're okay with
Yeah,
that.
they're fine, yeah. So no, there's nothing really, other than the O and M, that's the only thing that really.
We followed their recommendation to put money in the hands of the trustees of the trust fund that is accessible to us, and that was their recommendation, and we followed that, 3 years ago.
Yep, so, but, no. nothing like
So our approved budget for next year, are we going to overspend again on O and M, or did we account for that, do you think?
I think we accounted for that.
Okay.
I mean, as far
David,
as
for the
what we
recommend,
did.
you're thinking of the recommended
Right,
budget for at 26.
Right.
And David researched the capital projects, and I'm hoping we budgeted enough for the capital
Yeah.
projects as well.
Yeah,
Other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape on our budget.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Corey, back to you. Have we seen any drain layer applications?
We have not.
We had a concern 3 or 4 months ago about the new rate for drain layer applications and trying to help people be grandfathered in. Any progress along that line?
There was a bunch of people that came and renewed.
Got it.
There's no new applications. There was
What did we set for a deadline, Corey?
we set,
It's the end of the year.
yeah, the end of the year.
So the deadline's gone.
Yes.
So anybody that wants a drain layers license now pays the new fee. Okay?
Well, that was an initiative you suggested, Tim, and it worked out well. Appreciate it. And I think we've all taken care of the warrant. and
What
put
was
all the
this I
dates.
signed? I couldn't read it. How my glasses?
That was, that was for our meeting that we had in December for the encumbrances.
Okay,
that
the
we went
the
into,
print
yeah.
was way too small.
Yeah,
No,
I know.
anyway.
That's finance gave
I
me
saw the other
that.
guy sign it, so I thought it was okay.
So,
That's good,
they
Tim.
were kicking me off the desk. And then,
Yep, you're done.
we've taken care of
Thank
your
you.
warrant there. Please get
Thanks.
that done. Well, gentlemen, any further discussion? Mike, Corey? Okay. I have a closing comment. It's good for the public in case that somebody might benefit. My 3-year term is up in March, and I've made a decision not to be reelected. I have sent out some feelers to several engineering firms saying if they have a Gulfstown resident that would be interested in serving as a sewer commissioner, that they, there's a filing period at the end of January, and, please discuss it. If they want any information from me about what we do day in and day out, then they're free to call me. But likewise, Tim or Dan, Mike, if you know of a Gulftown resident that might want to serve, the filing period is the end of January, and I'll be glad to talk to them too.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. That makes it clear for candidates to know.
Yes,
Good to know.
that's the reason I'd like to put it part of this, and you can put it in the minutes that I've announced that I won't be seeking re-election.
Well, thank you for the time that you have.
6 years is enough for me. Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second motion?
Sorry, Dan.
It's
And the
okay.
call, and
It's
the
not
vote,
fast enough.
and the vote is aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're, Goffstown TV, we are adjourned.
So,